Hey beautiful people, today I decided that I might show you through my pantry a little bit. I just thought it might be helpful and handy to give you an idea of what I have as my basics in my pantry all the time, or something that always features in my cupboards of my fridges, just to help you navigate that whole world of grocery shopping and reading the fine print and yeah. So I just thought it might be a little bit of an insight to see what I have in my daily routine. So this little fella is something that I always have in my cupboard. It's a surprise at the moment that I have a small bottle, because normally I have a gigantic bottle, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to get hold of. It can be out of stock a little bit, but it's apple cider vinegar, and I have to stress that it must be the Bragg's brand. The Bragg's brand has the mother in it, so like I've talked about before, that's the fermented part. So that's what's really, really beneficial to your health. If you get other brands of apple cider vinegar, you might purely just get the sugars from the apples and some random white vinegar, not a truly proper fermented brand of apple cider vinegar that will have all of the health benefits. So I have about a dessert spoonful, I suppose, in some water every morning when I get up. If you have it before you have your food, it gets the digestive juices going, so then it helps you to digest your food better. It can also be used, I know it sounds really weird because it's quite kind of acidic tasting, it's also great to be used for indigestion. A lot of times people are suffering from indigestion and are told that it's because they've got an overproduction of digestive juices or stomach acids. It's actually sometimes because you've got too little amount of stomach acids and your body's trying to compensate, so it overcompensates by overproducing acid. So you do have too much stomach acid, but it's actually because the original problem was that your stomach acid was too low. And your stomach acids go too low when you're not getting enough sleep, when you're stressed out, when you're always in that fight or flight phase instead of the rest and digest phase. So this is something that can really help with people that suffer from indigestion. It's great for weight loss as well, or weight maintenance. It's just magic in a bottle. So this is like my kind of number one, everybody should try this kind of thing. It's quite disgusting. I don't like vinegary flavoured things, so I wouldn't say it's my favouriteest food, but it's one of my greatest things in my toolbox. So I'd highly recommend it, and just scoff it down. I have it in about, I don't know, yay much of water, fairly small glass, so that you're not having to drink heaps of it, but there's enough water in there to dilute it so it doesn't put hairs on your chest. Another thing is pink salt, pink Himalayan salt. We get the Nirvana brand. I should have grabbed the box for you to show you, but so that it's sourced from a proper source rather than just somebody who's grabbed normal salt and put pink in it. I don't know. Goodness knows what they do these days. But pink salt has amazing health benefits, and I also have a little squirt of that in my apple cider vinegar each day. So that's something well worth having in your cupboard. And don't be afraid of it. We've been told to be afraid of salt. Be afraid of refined white salt, just as you should be afraid of refined white sugar. But pink salt actually has health benefits and it's really good for you. So you should have a bit on your brekkie, a bit in your water with your apple cider vinegar, a bit on your salad, and a bit on your tea. It's actually really good for you. So use it in your cooking as well. Brown flax seeds, I have these every day sprinkled on my brekkie. I usually have some eggs and some avo, a bit of spinach sometimes for my brekkie, but I always sprinkle them on my brekkie. Great for females. They're really, really great for helping you to get rid of stored estrogen. They're a really good source of your omega-3s as well. So if you're not sort of getting enough of your fishes and stuff into you, then they're really good for that. But yeah, really great for hormone health for women, because they really help to flush out any excess estrogens and are a really great source of a natural form of estrogen. So they balance it out, and yeah, really, really good for your health. What else have I got here? I've mentioned this before as well. Cocoa Quench, unsweetened coconut milk is fabulous and really good for you and just delicious. Quinoa, another kind of superfood, great for, if I make it up as a something for tea, or as the side dish for tea, I make up extra and I keep it in the fridge and then make up a salad out of it the next day. Chuck some pumpkin in the oven and roast that and have that with some quinoa and some chopped up tomatoes and some, I don't know, lime juice, olive oil. Absolutely delicious and really, really great for your health. This I have mentioned before, that's the dandelion tea. I just wanted to show everybody the roasted dandelion blend, which is a great coffee substitute. So if you feel like you're relying on caffeine a little bit too much, or your energy is very much up, then down, and up, then down, then you're riding on a high of blood sugar spikes, blood sugar lows, and caffeine highs and caffeine lows, and not fun. So if you can wean yourself off and maybe try some dandelion tea, might be a healthy alternative. Great Lakes gelatin is fantastic, especially for gut health. Also, a lot of things that happen with people who have autoimmune diseases diseases is they have leaky gut syndrome. Gelatine and aloe vera are really, really good for improving the gut lining for you and improving your digestive health. This is stevia, which I've also mentioned before, so I use that as my sweetener just in my tea usually. But in cooking, if it calls for syrupy things like maple syrup or honey, I substitute it for my rice malt syrup, which I've also mentioned before, which is a form of glucose as a sweetener rather than fructose, so nice healthy sweetener. So if a recipe calls for a syrup, I substitute it with rice malt syrup. Or if I can get away with it, I'll use rice malt syrup. If it's in just cooking, that doesn't matter, it's going to stir in or melt. If you really need the texture of sugar, so if you need to cream something, then that's when I would use the stevia. But mostly I just have a little bit of it in my dandelion tea. But the rest of the time when I have rooibos tea, I don't need the sugar in it because it's delicious enough as it is. So I should have grabbed that as well, but I haven't got a packet. I've only got the bags or the loose tea. But I get rooibos tea from T2. I get choc mint rooibos for treats every now and then. It's just got cacao nibs in it and peppermint in it. Delicious and caffeine free and really nice. Pumpkin seeds is another one that is a great form of magnesium, great source of energy. Just grab a handful of them if you're feeling hungry in between meals and it will really keep you going. It's fabulous. Buckwheat is another thing that I just use for crunch. So I sprinkle it onto salads. I sprinkle it on the top of my yogurt. You can pan fry them in a little bit of rice malt syrup and make caramel buckinis out of them. You can pan fry them with a little bit of coconut oil and some cacao powder and make chocolate bikinis out of them, and those can be things that you can top some berries with or some yogurt with, and they're delicious and yummy, yummy. I'm trying to talk really quick because I've got a few things here and I don't want to bore you all. Cacao powder. So the difference between cacao powder and cocoa powder is that cocoa powder quite often has sweeteners mixed in with it as well, and it's not the raw, straight from the tree cacao. So cacao powder is the stuff that actually doesn't have any sweeteners for you in it. It therefore is quite bitter. But when you're making it, like making things with it, like, I don't know, Sarah Wilson's chocolate brownies where you use sweet potato to sweeten it, you can also use your rice malt syrup and make it to your taste and add enough sweetener that you need to balance out the bitterness of the cacao. I use cacao in my smoothies as well as my things like my buckinis or my buckwheat and my pumpkin seeds. I also put my flax seeds in my smoothies. I put cocoa quench in my smoothies. I put a bit of pea protein, a bit of maca powder, which is amazing. I didn't want to show you too many jars, but I get all excited about food. Maca powder has some amazing qualities, great source of calcium and magnesium. Same with mesquite powder, which is quite caramelly. They say maca powder tastes like caramel. It doesn't. It tastes like parsnip with a little bit of caramel, I think. Whereas mesquite powder does taste like caramel and has amazing health benefits and is delicious, and I put that in all of my smoothies as well. Coconut oil, so I was talking the other day about healthy fats. And coconut oil, the unrefined one, is a really great source of healthy fats. So sometimes if I'm really starving before tea, I'll actually just have a teaspoon of coconut oil to keep me going. But yeah, if you can have that, a healthy fat in each of your meals, that will really be a great energy source rather than relying on sugar as an energy source. Chia seeds, amazing little beasts. They're fantastic. I put them in yogurts and things when I take a little yogurt to work. I put them in all of my smoothies. I make chia puddings out of them like I've shown you to do. I sprinkle them on salads. They're just delicious little power munchers they are. Cinnamon is a great herb to add to, spice, to add to things to make things delicious and sweet without having to add a sweetener. My coconutty granola, which I have a recipe for, I might have to share it with you because I've mentioned it a couple of times now. It's a Sarah Wilson recipe, so you can also access it on her website. Coconutty granola is an amazing snack. Doesn't take much effort to make it all, and it's great to just put in a little Snaplock bag or container and have it in your handbag to rescue you from those times when you're a bit starving, hungry, or you're stuck in a boring meeting and you just need something to do. That's an amazing thing. Sprinkle it on top of things. I still put that in my smoothies sometimes. Sprinkle it on some berries. It's really delicious. The other thing that I wanted to mention, bone broth. If you can make your own, fabulous. If you can't, you can get it in a dehydrated form like this. This one's actually got some turmeric in it as well. Just use that in hot water to drink when you're feeling unwell. I use it if I ever sort of feel a bit down, or the random time that I got a cold, which doesn't happen very often at all. I'll use that to really try and strengthen my immune system and just make everything feel better. But I also use it as a substitute for beef stock in cooking as well. The other little treasures that I wanted to mention were doTERRA oils. So I will use real lemon juice and lemon rind, but if I want a quick sort of lemon in hot water or something, their lemon oil is fantastic. Peppermint oil for little like bliss balls or protein balls is pretty cool too. And wild orange for flavouring like your smoothies or your bliss balls, or On Guard is something that they use. It's a really great immune booster. It's got cinnamon bark in it and frankincense and all sorts of amazing orange oil, clove bud oil, eucalyptus oil, rosemary oil. No use of frankincense, sorry, but really, really good for boosting the immune system. I use it as a multi-purpose spray in my kitchen, but you can also soak apples in it, the green apples, because they're lower in fructose, and don't do it all the time, but just something to make your food taste delicious and good for you as well. And something that I also put in with my apple cider vinegar each morning, which is Smart and Sassy, which is fabulous for boosting your metabolism and keeping that system going to burn some fat and keep you healthy. So that was a lot of talking, but this is kind of my pantry staples that I just wanted to show you to help you recognise some of those packagings and things when you're in the supermarket, and to do your health a massive favour by having them in your pantry as well, and learn to just bring them into your daily nutritional routine. So until I see you again, thank you for joining me. Have a lovely day. Please share this video and tag anybody who may benefit from it. Check out my website and just go out there and spread some love. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye.